Are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog back with the one and only breakdown of the week. It's a Contender Series breakdown for week 6, headlined by Elijah Smith and Aaron Tao here. And I'm just going to really quickly go through the card. Don't worry, everybody. Lucky will be back next week, and I will have his picks as we go through here. Just wasn't able to make the time that we're recording. But we move on, but talked with him before the show and got his thoughts on some of these fights. It's an okay Contender Series fight, Contender Series card, I should say. I think there's some decent fights along the way, but we're just going to kick it right off in the lightweight division. Dylan Mantello, the Quiet Man, taking on Ahmad Hassan Zada here at 155. Hassan Zada making his return to the Contender Series. He lost on there to Nazim Saidakov. Following that, he lost to Josh Streaker, an 8-5 journeyman over with LFA. I know I was on Josh Streaker in that fight. And with Aman Hassan Zada, I think that I'm not going to speak for Lucky here, and except for with his pick at the end, but I don't think either one of us is too sold on Ahmad. One of his advantages is going to be that reach in that 6-1 frame, both of which his opponent Dylan Mantello has here. Mantello out of Serra-Longo here. Also in his second fight on the Contender Series, made a big mistake against Krzyzewski in that first fight. They were kind of just exchanging on the feet. He was getting cracked quite a bit as well before making that mistake on the ground once he slipped up and Krzyzewski got his back, adjusted, and choked him unconscious. So definitely some concerns here. Dylan needed the box also to weigh in, weighed in at 156, his opponent 154 and a half. So some concerns with me as Dylan gets quiet or gets more tired in this fight, I should say. I do think Ahmad Hassan Zada has the grappling advantage. It could become easier to get it there as the fight goes on. That being said, I think that Dylan Mantello has quite an advantage on the feet. And what up, Glenbot? Just me here today, but how you doing? Always good to see you. And I will have Lucky's picks as well as we go. But yeah, Dylan Mantello, I think, is going to be able to keep this on the feet. And you know, the gas tank is the real worry here. But as the underdog here, I am edging on Dylan Mantello's side. I think that he gets this done. Most likely, I think he gets it done by decision, but I could see him getting a finish as well. But I do get nervous as this fight goes on that he makes a mistake, and in the grappling, has the way he was submitted by Krzyzewski does show that he does have some grappling holes in his game. But I'm just not a Hassan Zada fan, not a believer in general, and I think that this number of minus 180 is unwarranted, plus 140 to Dylan Mantello, and I think he gets it done by decision. Over at minus 188, I think that's pretty. I'm not a big time guy, especially with regards to the Contender Series, but both these guys fighting on the Contender Series already, I think will be ready to go. They're both 6-1. I think they could kind of cancel each other out for a bit. It's not like Hassan Zada is automatically a finisher once it gets to the ground either. And how he gets to the ground, I kind of have some questions. So I like Mantello plus 140. But yeah, if you're taking that over 1.5 at minus 188, I think it's probably accurately priced if I'm being honest with you. But minus 180 Hassan Zada makes no sense to me, and I would not suggest that. So dog or pass for me. I'm taking the dog. Have not gotten to a betting window yet, plus 140. But we shall see. Also Serra-Longo I favor over, Team Alpha Male. So next fight, this is that is the carousel music going because we got Yura Naito versus Atiba Gautier. Hassan Zada late sub could be live, but yeah, Dylan by deck. Third round submission for Hassan Zada, I get sprinkling that play as well because I do think that I'm nervous about Dylan if he gets into grappling situations as he's tired, particularly later in the fight. But yeah, Dylan by deck, I'm with you, Glenbot. This fight here, though, Atiba Gautier. And by the way, Lucky also picking Dylan Mantello in the first fight of the night. So we just spoiler alert, Lucky and I agreed on all 5 of the fights tonight prior to talking too. So usually a good sign. Lucky is like doing pretty well in general. One of the few people in regional MMA I'm willing to trust, if I'm being honest. But you're Naito. This is a pretty linear fight here for me. And I think that Naito takes it to the ground and exposes there's lack of competition, and then there's the guys that Atiba. I haven't done this in a while, but I'll go through these guys. Atiba Gautier, the silent assassin. He's awfully quiet probably because of the level of competition. He lost to a Glenn Williams out of Wales in a fight that, frankly, Atiba won. Didn't look terrible towards the end either. What up, Nora? Good to see you. Atiba on all of the spinach. Beyond it. To borrow a phrase from Lucky, it's got impressive hardware. The hardware advantage goes to Atiba. The technical advantage goes to Naito, however. Atiba with African MMA Open Championship, 0-0. 0-0 lost to a Wales fighter over in Wales. Not sure he lost that fight, but it is what it is. Then fought 2-23, 0-1, 1-0, 17-13. So that comes out to a grand total of 19-39 or 36, 38, 19-38. Not good. Naito by sub 5-1. I am absolutely playing that. I feel like Naito takes us down in some way, some fashion, gets us done. And I do think he submits Atiba just because I have hard, but the ground and pound from Naito is not terrible. Naito not here facing like the highest level of competition either, if you look, but at least has the 19-10 fighter on his record, but that lasted 42 seconds. I mean, again, these are low levels of competition both these guys have faced and pretty unknown. So I'm taking Naito by sub. Look, he also has Naito, but no bet from me and nor from Lucky. Atiba plus 120. A lot of people taking a shot there. Go ahead. Minus 155 to Naito, the sub 5-1. Atiba is training over with Lerone Murphy. Great word on the street there, Glenn. I could not confirm that. I'm sitting back and watching this one because Atiba deading this guy, no, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever. So I think Naito subs him. Lucky also agrees with Naito. I'm not sure on the methodology there. And my unofficial co-host today is Glenbot 5000. So thank you very much, Glenbot. Long-time supporter. I appreciate you, man. Next fight, I think this is the highest level fight of the night, the closest fight of the night, under 1.5 plus money. That's interesting. Very interesting. I will definitely think about that, Glenn. Keep the info coming. Appreciate you, man. Benjamin Bennett, Joey Hart here, Mr. Alaska, which not many people are bragging about, versus the Hitman here. 4 straight wins for Hart. He stopped Nielsen pretty dirty in that fight over with LFA. Really sharp striker, good knees, good straight, accurate puncher. Very big for the weight class as well, and just physically looks like he's one of those next generation athletes here. But he's putting away guys who aren't great. Again, the 0-0 Andy Guillen, the 2-2 Jeff Nielsen. Jeff Nielsen's a decent wrestler. Scott Ritz, 6-3, a little bit better than Tyler Scott. Again, putting those guys away, fighting who's in front of him, has tried to get better and better fights, very aware of the scene and everything, which I do like to hear. Benjamin Bennett fought in Alaska for a while, came over to LFA, beat Elmar Umarov in his debut, lost on a knee against Trey Waters in a fight he was doing pretty well in. We've seen how Trey Waters has turned out as well. 3 straight wins, including his last fight in Gaze with LFA a couple months ago. Benjamin Bennett, he's just steady as she goes. I think he's very good at often canceling out the strengths of his opponent. And the face-offs, I got a little bit nervous there. I mean, like, Joey has quite a physical edge on Benjamin in this fight. And, Hart is just getting better. He's facing a high level of competition early in his career. Again, he's going and facing guys like Junior Cortez when he's 19. And Junior Cortez, like Glenn said here, 28, 29, and a very good fighter. There's no shame in that fight at all. I do think that both these guys have faced a high level of competition. I do think both these guys deserve to be here to an extent of what deserves to be here in 2024 means. But I like Benjamin Bennett to get this one done, and I like Benjamin Bennett to extend this one and get this one through the over 1.5. I do think Joey Hart has the edge and edges this one out, but I think it's going to be a very close fight, and I think the winner could get punished due to the closeness of the fight. So we will move on to the co-main event here. Won't take very long at all. Two Brazilians here. One of them is a heavyweight. The other one weighed in at 218 pounds after about 6 years off in one other fight. Artur Lopez, I'm not sure why he's really here other than to collect the paycheck. He got a stoppage 5 months ago over a 5-6 fighter after 6 years off. Now he's weighing at 218 against a guy who's about 7 inches shorter than Teixeira here, Talson Teixeira. We don't know how Teixeira would look if he gets extended, and I'm sure that will be a problem at some point. I don't think it will be here. I think he knocks him out in round 1. And then Hart, 100% of the KOs wins, so you can play both sides. But Teixeira not breaking any ground here, minus 720. And Lucky also had Joey Hart last fight, and with this fight, he also has Talson Teixeira. Not really sure why they're making Teixeira do this, but I think they just want to make sure he's not a complete false set of goods, but they seem to want Teixeira in the UFC. So minus 720. I don't think it's wrong, but I'm not playing it. Plus 450 to Lopez. Main event, Aaron Tao having my namesake against Elijah Smith. The Murai Haka made its return today on the Aaron Tao side. Elijah Smith, very smooth, crisp boxer, very good on the feet. Reminds me of AJ McKee in some ways. Just long, athletic, good movement. Very good defensive against the wrestling as well, and seems to be getting better in that respect. Aaron Tao had all his fights with the same organization over in New Zealand. Not really impressed with the level of competition throughout his career. Elijah Smith, again, fighting a much better level of competition, losing to Junior Cortez there, Reyes Cortez, and I think he can get better from a fight like that. And at the same point, Tao, I think, could have some trouble getting in on the range of Elijah Smith as well. It's a 5'3" fighter in Tao who fights at flyweight at times. Makes me nervous against a guy in Elijah Smith who has a frame of a featherweight. I think Elijah Smith has what it takes to keep it on the feet, and I think he eventually puts Aaron Tao away. I think that Elijah Smith has a very good team at Victory MMA with his father, Gilbert Smith, behind him. I think it will end up helping him here, and I think he knows what Tao's coming in there to do. Tao just lacking the footwork I think it takes to use that wrestling base, but I get people who are edging on Aaron Tao's side. I will not be betting the Elijah Smith side, but I am going to edge with him to win this fight, and I think that he wins it. I think that Aaron Tao will not allow this to get to a decision. I think he's going to be killed here. So I think Elijah Smith puts him away by TKO round 2. Lucky as well on the Elijah Smith side. He is currently can be found for minus 188. I don't love that price at all, but I do think he's a rightful favorite. So to go through the card for tomorrow really quick and then take off again, this is Lucky and I's picks. We did agree separate of talking to each other, and Lucky will be back next week, but both on the underdog and Dylan Montalvo, both on Naito by submission. I'm slightly on Joey Hart, and I am on him to get the KO. as is Lucky, Talston Teixeira, both of us are on, and Elijah Smith in the main event. I would suggest the Naito sub bet at 5-1. Not a bad shot there. Ventello, I'm very close to betting, as I am Joey Hart. The rest is most likely going to be left alone, but yeah, no, it's all good, dude. I realized that as I went too, and people can realize that. And just to go back and correct myself on the Joey Hart loss, which was by decision. That was to a guy in Dyer Kuriev, who never fought again. Some Russian just kind of wrestled him, canceled out the striking. Junior Cortez was against Elijah Smith. So yeah, it's all good. I didn't have Lucky here, but that's what I get. But it's all good. Thank you very much to everybody for the support. We will be back next Monday night with the Contender Series breakdown. Lucky and I will possibly be back later this week with a regional MMA breakdown since there's no UFC, or we will be back next week with the best panel in the UFC breakdown game on Wednesday night as myself, just my 2 cents and Lucky Locks break down the next UFC. Thank you, Glenbot, and thank you, everybody else in the chat. Have a good night. Peace out.